Welcome to this week's Highlight News Report. In what was certainly a shocking event for spectators, SpaceX's Starship rocket blew up over the Gulf of Mexico on Thursday. While the rocket was certainly making headlines, it was the devastating force of the launch at ground level that sparked heightened scrutiny from the regulators. The force from the SpaceX facility near Boca Chica Beach sent clouds of pulverized concrete raining over the surrounding area and left a 3.5-acre fire burning. This prompted calls from environmentalists to conduct further research into the environmental impact of frequent launches at the site. The rocket was the first for the combined two-stage vehicle and part of the Artemis program, which aims to send astronauts safely to the Moon and eventually onto Mars. After the disaster, SpaceX CEO and founder Elon Musk proposed that a cooling system and steel foundation be installed to the launch site before they make their next attempt in a few months. The U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service also released a report that shows how far the impact of the launch on the ground actually went. They found the blastoff had sent chunks of concrete and metal thousands of feet away and that the pulverized material had reached a nearby town. The launch pad was also left in tatters due to the liftoff. However, what environmentalists found most concerning was the lack of in-depth study of the potential hazards to public safety and wildlife that was conducted before the launch of the Starship. They also suggested that the initial environmental assessment was incomplete and that heavy debris landed in a critical habitat for endangered species. SpaceX did not comment on the findings of the Fish and Wildlife Service. Instead, the test flight was deemed a qualified success as it provided the necessary data for further development of the spacecraft. In the meantime, the Federal Aviation Administration have grounded SpaceX until they can determine the root causes for failure. So there we have it, SpaceX's Starship rocket made headlines when it exploded in mid-air just minutes after launch. While the scene of the launch was no doubt spectacular, we can see how the lack of in-depth study on the environmental hazards associated with space travel was ignored and are now being called out. We wish SpaceX good luck in their attempts to safely send astronauts to the Moon in the near future.